You know that feeling, right? The one where you're holding onto something, maybe a trinket from grandma, a dusty old painting from the attic, or even just a weird-looking vase you picked up at a yard sale for a few bucks. And deep down, in that little whisper of hope, you think, what if? What if this is actually worth something? That's the magic of Antiques Roadshow. It's not just a TV show, it's a treasure hunt, a history lesson, and a heartwarming, and sometimes heartbreaking, journey all rolled into one. Every week, hopeful guests line up, clutching their cherished items, their faces a mixture of nerves and anticipation. They're not just looking for a number, they're looking for validation, for a story, for a connection to the past that makes their personal history just a little bit richer. The million-dollar question, or, in this case, the $300,000 question. Imagine you're there. You've waited in line, your heart doing a little fluttery dance in your chest. You finally sit down across from an expert, a person who can seemingly peer into the soul of an object and tell you its secrets. You present your item, perhaps a family heirloom that's always just been there. You love it, of course, but you've never really considered its monetary worth. That's exactly what happened to one particular guest, and her story is pure Antiques Roadshow gold. She brought in a painting, a beautiful piece by the artist Alphonse Wald, that had been a beloved fixture in her home for years. It wasn't just a painting, it was a link to her heritage, a visual echo of her mother's journey and love for Switzerland. From cherished keepsake to staggering sum. When the show's art expert, Alain Fausel, began to examine the painting, you could almost feel the energy shift. He wasn't just looking at brushstrokes and colors. He was unraveling a narrative. The guest, clearly fond of the piece, was undoubtedly hoping for a pleasant surprise, maybe a few $1,000s that would make for a nice vacation or a little extra spending money. But then came the moment. The reveal. Alain, with that signature Antiques Roadshow gravitas, dropped the bombshell, a valuation of $200,000 to $300,000 at auction. The most relatable reaction ever now. Stop for a second. Put yourself in her shoes. $300,000 for a painting that had simply been around your house. What would your reaction be? Screams of joy? Tears of disbelief? A sudden urge to call your financial advisor? Her response? It was so utterly human, so perfectly relatable, it instantly cemented her place in Antiques Roadshow legend. "Oh, that's terrible," she exclaimed, her voice laced with genuine shock, followed by a soft, almost mournful, "Oh, it was such a nice picture to just sort of have around." Terrible. Can you believe it? Not because she was ungrateful, but because the sheer magnitude of the value instantly transformed her beloved, comforting painting from a daily companion into something so precious, so significant, that its casual presence on her wall suddenly felt wrong. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated emotional honesty. The comfort of the familiar was suddenly eclipsed by the weight of the extraordinary. A mother's love, a European dream. As she recovered from the initial shock, the guest shared the painting's journey, a story as rich and beautiful as the artwork itself. "My mom was born in Europe," she began, a hint of fondness in her voice. "She went to Switzerland and skied and loved Switzerland. And when she immigrated to the United States, she brought this picture with her, kept it on her bedroom wall all the time, and would tell me about how wonderful Switzerland was." Imagine that, a piece of art that wasn't just decor, but a window to a cherished homeland, a constant reminder of happy memories, and a tangible link between a mother and her daughter. It explained why, despite its potential value, it had simply been a part of the family tapestry for so long. It was more than just paint on canvas. It was a memory, a feeling, a whisper of a distant story, a glimpse into genius. Alain Fausel, ever the expert, then took us deeper into the world of Alphonse Wald, giving us context that enriched the painting story even further. He painted a vivid picture of the artist's life and influences. A Renaissance man in the making. Born in 1891, Wald initially trained as an architect. This background, no doubt, contributed to the structural beauty and perspective often seen in his works. Rubbing shoulders with legends, he was friends with none other than Gustav Klimt and Egon Schiele, two titans of Austrian art. Imagine the conversations, the shared ideas, the creative energy flowing between these brilliant minds. This connection alone elevates Wald's standing in the art world. The pioneer of skiing scenes. Wold found his true calling in Kitzbühel, Innsbruck, a renowned ski resort area. He became one of the very first artists to truly capture the dynamic beauty of skiing in his paintings. This specialization makes his work uniquely appealing, especially to those who appreciate both art and the majesty of winter sports. Unpacking the masterpiece, The Lonely Mountain Cabin. As Alan continued his analysis, he zoomed in on the specific details of this particular painting, likely dating to around 1935. He highlighted Wold's masterful technique and recurring themes. A contrast in brilliance. What's interesting is that in this, he's able to have this bright white against the deep shadows here, Alan observed. This stark contrast is a hallmark of Wold's ability to depict the crisp, dazzling light of snow-covered landscapes. A beloved scene. The expert noted that Wold returned to this specific scene a number of times over and over again. This repetition suggests the deep personal resonance of the image for the artist and likely for his patrons as well. Einsamer Berghof. The painting's title, Einsamer Berghof, translates to The Lonely Mountain Cabin. This instantly evokes a sense of solitude, peace, and perhaps a touch of longing, a feeling many can relate to, especially when imagining a tranquil mountain retreat. Humanity in the wilderness. Alan pointed out the figures within the scene. We have a person with a little child being held up there in this mountaintop retreat. This detail adds a poignant human element to the vast, impressive landscape, suggesting warmth and connection amidst the cool, stark beauty of the mountains. The power of impasto, a key characteristic of Wold's work, and one Alan highlighted, is his use of impasto. He has this very thick impasto. Impasto is a built-up paint. For those unfamiliar, impasto is a technique where paint is laid on thick, creating a textured surface that often gives the painting a three-dimensional quality. This technique gives Wold's snow scenes a palpable sense of depth and reality. You can almost feel the powdery snow. The final valuation and a delighted heart. After this insightful journey into the painting's history, artistic merit, and personal significance, Alan reiterated his auction estimate, $200,000 to $300,000. This time, the terrible news had transformed into pure, unadulterated delight. The guest's initial shock gave way to a radiant smile, the kind that lights up a room. It was a beautiful moment, a testament to the fact that sometimes the greatest treasures are found not in the gleaming display cases of museums, but quietly, humbly, within the walls of our own homes. What does this mean for you? This story isn't just about a painting or a price tag, it's a reminder. A gentle nudge to look around your own home. Do you have an old piece of furniture passed down through generations? A box of forgotten postcards in the attic? A strange piece of jewelry you never really understood? Every item has a story, and sometimes, just sometimes, that story might be worth more than you ever imagined. It's a call to curiosity, a prompt to explore the forgotten corners of your past, and a testament to the unexpected wonders that can be lurking right under your nose. So, go on. Take a peek. You never know what hidden treasures might be waiting to be discovered in your own personal Antiques Roadshow. What forgotten gems might you uncover today?